Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abdahu wa rasul. Amma ba'du fa'a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I bear witness that nothing deserves to be worshipped except Almighty Allah, the one true God. And I testify that Muhammad, upon whom be peace, is his servant, messenger, and the last of the prophets. And I begin in the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Wallahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Walillahil hamd. Qul inna salati wa nusuki wa mahyaya wa mamati lillahi rabbil alameen. La sharika lahu wa bizalika umirtu wa anna awwalul muslimin. Say, my prayer and my sacrifice and my life and my death are surely for Allah, the Lord of the worlds. No associate has He, and this am I commanded, and I am the first of those who submit. Chapter 6, verse 162 to 163. La yanala Allah luhumuha wala dima'uha walakin yanaluhu taqwa minkum kadhalika sakharha lakum litukabbirullaha ala ma hadakum wa bashirul muhsinin. Not their flesh nor their blood reaches Allah, but to Him is acceptable observance of duty on your part. Thus has He made them subservient to you, that you may magnify Allah for guiding you aright, and give good news to those who do good to others. Normally on this day, which comes towards the end of the pilgrimage, the Qurbani is observed. This is the sacrifice of an animal which is meant to replicate the spirit of sacrifice shown by the Prophet Abraham when he was ready to sacrifice his son Ishmael in obedience to the divine command. The root word for Qurbani means in English nearness. And are we not seeking nearness to Allah through our sacrifice today? Nearness here does not denote physical distance, because He is in all directions, in front and behind, left and right, above and below. Like a dry sponge that is then immersed in water, we too must be immersed in the attributes of Allah and let them reside on the outside as well as inside. Prophet Abraham extolled the true concept of God from one of a polytheistic creed that depicted the gods as tyrannical and punitive, to whom human offerings were made. And he transformed it to that of a loving, merciful, and caring God of the universe. He openly, at great risk to his own life, defied the worship of the stars, the moon, and the sun. He destroyed idols so as to challenge worshippers to entreat the very idols to identify the perpetrator, which he argued should be easy for them if they were alive and all-knowing. His uncompromising opposition to the worshipping of idols is prophetic of the advent of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, upon whom be peace, who put a final nail in the coffin of idol worship, and who referred to Abraham as my father, and whose faith he was commanded to follow. Abraham was indeed a precursor of and an inseparable link to that grand divine institution that ultimately firmly established man's complete submission to the will of Allah, called Islam. Under divine guidance, Abraham introduced an entirely new meaning to the concept of sacrifice. He championed what can be most probably be seen today as groundbreaking human rights activism, when he entrenched what all Muslims celebrate today, the preservation and sanctity of human life. Under divine guidance, he understood that the offering of his son, Ishmael, was only meant that his son was to play a leadership role in laying the foundation of a futuristic new world order that was ushered in by the universal and final prophet Muhammad, upon whom be peace. The Holy Quran refers to this. And we enjoined Abraham and Ishmael, saying, "Purify my house for those who visit it and those who abide in it, for devotion and those who bow down and those who prostrate themselves." Chapter 2, verse 125. In another place, it says, "And when Abraham and Ishmael raised the foundations of the house, our Lord accept from us." Chapter 2, verse 127. The house is a reference to the Holy Kaaba in Makkah, which is widely regarded as the first house of worship and a symbol of true monotheism. This prayer of Abraham and Ishmael was answered in the form of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, with whom religion was perfected. But the Holy Quran states in chapter 5, verse 3, "This day I have perfected for you your religion." The Quran makes it clear that the sacrificing of the animals is for the humanitarian reasons in both a physical and moral sense. Chapter 22, verse 37 says, "Neither their flesh nor their blood reaches Allah, but to Him is acceptable observance of duty on your part." So the whole concept that God stands in need of animal offerings is extinguished. The sacrificial act is to impress on man the need to sacrifice his own animal tendencies for higher moral qualities of righteousness and justice. This is what the Holy Quran in several places calls upon the believers to do. For example, it says, "O you who believe, violate not the signs of Allah, nor the sacred month, nor the offerings, and let not hatred of a people, because they hindered you from the sacred mosque, incite you to transgress. And help one another in righteousness and piety, and help not one another in sin and aggression." Chapter 5, verse 2. This verse lays down a principle of uprightness in dealing with even those we may not like. A code the modern international world is sorely in need of. We are called upon to sacrifice vengeful tendencies for the sake of righteousness and piety. We are warned not to transgress and violate the rights of others by sinful and aggressive means. This brings us to the subject of the violations of Muslims by Muslims that is all too pervasive. This aggression we witness in the form of suicide bombings and other manifestations of violence are in direct violation of the clear commandments of the Holy Quran. It is further clearly stated in the Holy Quran, "Do not cast yourselves to destruction by your own hands." Chapter 2, verse 195. And in chapter 4, verse 29, "Do not kill yourselves." On days like today, when we celebrate the sanctity of human life, Muslims should use the occasion of Eid al-Adha to collectively condemn barbaric acts of suicide bombings. Though ill-intended malicious processes of indoctrination and brainwashing, young boys and girls are led to believe that mass murder and suicide are sanctified as pious under the guise of jihad and martyrdom. This is totally against the teachings of the Holy Quran. These are blatant criminal acts and have nothing to do with religion. What these innocent children should be taught is that self-destruction or suicide is sin in Islam, and it is self-preservation of human life that is a duty of every Muslim, whether young or old. They should be taught that the true definition of a martyr in Islam is one who dies as a result of someone else's hostile action against them, which they themselves resist as far as possible in defense of human rights and the preservation of life. It is the abolition of human sacrifices, not its continuation, that we celebrate today. In commemoration of the great patriarch Abraham and his devoted son Ishmael. What is the collective duty of Muslims with regard to the Hajj? Chapter 22, verse 27 states, "And proclaim for men the Hajj." We know that due to the current global pandemic, the Hajj is not possible. But it does not mean that we cannot take and derive certain lessons from that most celebrated pillar of Islam. Every Muslim should pass a noble message of the Hajj to all mankind, especially to those who belong to the progeny of Abraham, like the Jews and the Christians, and even the Hindus. It is this coming together that brings into the domain of practicality what would otherwise seem impossible, namely that all people, to whatever class or country they belong, are equal in birth and in death. That they come into life and pass out of it in the same way. Let them celebrate with us on this occasion, which mankind is taught to live alike and how to act and how to feel alike. But we can only do this effectively if we carry forth the great lesson of the Hajj into our own lives, and practically doing so, and stop the hostilities that are rending the unity of the human race apart. The lessons of Hajj carries with it many benefits, including material benefits. The seeking of bounty is accepted by commentators as meaning that seeking the increase in one's wealth by means of trade and during the pilgrimage season is allowed. In chapter 2, verse 198, "It is no sin that you seek the bounty of your Lord." So that the Holy Quran the Holy Quran thus not only allows the carrying on of trade in the pilgrimage season, but in a way recommends it by calling it a bounty of your Lord. It is easy to see that even if trading is allowed in the pilgrimage season, this great assemblage of Muslims from all quarters of the world may also be made the occasion of other advantages of a material or cultural nature. And it should serve the purpose of unifying the Muslim world and removing misunderstanding between nation and nation. Worldwide conferences are held on many occasions, and this should, in the new conditions of the world, be a regular feature of the Hajj. And the best minds among the various nations should, on this occasion, discuss all problems affecting the world, not the least important of which is the advancement of Islam itself. They should engage in dialogue and consultation with each other around issues such as unity based on the Holy Kalima, finding peaceful solutions to the political and sectarian differences, put in place effective steps based on a spirit of sincerity and fear of Allah to stop all the violence, the upliftment of society through proper education, healthcare, and financial security, regardless of gender or race, propagation of Islam through peaceful means, condemnation and prohibition of all forms of extremism that breed fanaticism, intolerance, and social evils. protection and procurement of the environment, its cultural heritages and natural resources. Look at building an economy based on non-usurious banking systems, backed by healthy trade and industrial means and relations. Maintain a constitution based on freedom of political choice, religion, and speech, underpinned by a code of moral and ethical decency and respect for all. Until the Muslim community has evolved to the stage of using the occasion of Hajj to this ultimate advantage for which Allah has provided for them, they will not have achieved the true all-pervading benefits of the pilgrimage. This wonderful institution of a united human race under one God. My dear sisters and brothers, the Ahmadiyya Anjuman is founded upon the doctrine of sacrifice, and the essence of which is stated in the Quranic verse, chapter 6, verse 162. After all, what does our pledge say? It says in Urdu, Deen ko dunya par muqaddam karuga, that I will hold religion above worldly things. Certain situations will arise that I will have to make a choice between the path to religion or something that makes me comfortable. When we perform the sacrifice today and every single day of the year, let us place the knife on the neck of the rebellious animal within us. The animal attitude that breaches the nearness to God we achieve at the time of Qurbani. Only then will we achieve the true happiness. Eid means recurring happiness. We will achieve it once there is nothing inside us that incites us to evil. Let us take pattern from the great sacrifices of the patriarch Abraham and his son Ishmael, whose symbolic act helped to shape that which we proudly celebrate today. Barakallahu lana wa lakum fil Qur'anil Azim wa nafa'na wa iyyakum bil ayati wa zikril hakim. Innahu ta'ala jawadun kareem, malikun barrul raufur rahim. Amin. Alhamdulillah nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruhu wa nu'minu bihi wa natawakkalu alayh wa na'udzu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina may yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa may yudlilhu fala hadiya lahu. Allahumma ansur man nasara dina Muhammadin sallallahu alayhi wa sallam waj'alna minhum. Allahumma khzul man khazala dina Muhammadin sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa la taj'alna minhum. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Inna Allaha ya'muru bil adli wa ihsani wa ita'i dhil qurba wa yanha 'anil fahsha'i wal munkari wal baghi ya'izzukum la'allakum tadhakkarun. Ibadallahi uzkurullaha yazkurukum wad'u yastajib lakum wa la dhikrullahi akbar. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto you.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. ऐसी सो सुनो के बेकुरान हक मिलता नहीं कभी इंसान. ऐसी सो सुनो के बेकुरान हक मिलता नहीं कभी इंसान। जिनको उस नूर की खबर ही नहीं, उन पे उस यार की नजर ही नहीं। है ये फुरका का एक अजीब असर, वो बनाता है आशिकी दिल पर। ए अज़ीज़ो सुनो के बेकुरां, हक मिलता नहीं कभी इंसान। दिल में हर वक्त नूर बढ़ता है, सीने को खूब साफ करता है। उसके और साफ क्या करूँ मैं बयां, वो तो देता है जाको और एक जान। ए अज़ीज़ो सुनो के बेकुरां, हक मिलता नहीं कभी इंसान। वो तो चमका है नेरे अकबर, उसे नकार हो सके क्यों कर। बहरे हिकमत है वो कलाम तमाम, इश्क़ हक का पिला रहा है जाम। वो हमें दिल सीता तलक लाया, उसके पाने से यार को पाया। ए अज़ीज़ो सुनो के बेकुरां, हक मिलता नहीं कभी इंसान। ए अज़ीज़ो सुनो के बेकुरां, हक मिलता नहीं कभी इंसान। हक मिलता नहीं कभी इंसान।
Translation. Listen, O my dear ones, without the Quran, a man can never find God. Those who are not aware of this light of the Quran cannot have their beloved set his eyes on them. A marvelous quality of the Quran is that it makes one a lover of the beloved God. It fills the heart all the time with light and cleanses the breast of all impurities. How can I describe the qualities of the Quran? It surely imparts a new life to life. It shines like a great sun. How can one deny its radiance? All its revelation is like the sea of wisdom. It constantly offers the cup of divine love to the seeker. The Quran has brought us right to the threshold of the sweetheart. We found our beloved when we found the Quran. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful.
खुदाया अज़मते सलाम के सामान पैदा कर, मुसलमानों में अपना इश्क है रहमान पैदा कर। मिटा बातिल जहाँ से मिल लते हक का बचे दंका, दिले मुर्दा में मुस्लिम के कुदाया जान पैदा कर। मुसलमान गए आ गया रमे मुद्दत से है मौला, हमारे
हसरत का कोई सामान पैदा कर खुदाया अज़्मते सलाम के सामान पैदा कर मुसलमानों में अपना इश्क है रहमान पैदा कर चले नक्शे कफ़े पाए नबी पर जिंदगी पर हम हमारे कल बोतल में जज्बे ईमान पैदा कर न हो मायूस तुए यार अपने रब की रहमत से मगर दिल में सरासर को सफा की शान पैदा कर खुदाया अज़्मते इस्लाम के सामान पैदा कर मुसलमानों में अपना इश्क है रहमान पैदा कर मुसलमानों में अपना इश्क है रहमान पैदा कर मुसलमानों में अपना इश्क है रहमान पैदा कर Translation O Allah, create for us the conditions of the glory of Islam. Create your love in the hearts of Muslims, O the Merciful One. Let falsehood perish from the world and let the community of the righteous reign. O Lord, create a new life in the dead hearts of Muslims. Muslims have been surrounded by their foes for a long time, our Lord. Make some arrangements for our victory and success. May we walk in the footsteps of the Holy Prophet all our lives. Fill our minds and hearts with the love of faith. O friend, despair not the mercy of your Lord, but put in your heart the lustre of truthfulness and piety. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum.
This program was sponsored by Central Precision Engineering Rebuilders Limited of 82 to 84 Guaracara Tabaquito Road, Gasparillo, specializing in machine shop works and heavy-duty engine rebuilding with decades of experience. Suppliers of heavy-duty engine parts, Donaldson filters, and sole authorized dealer for Perkins diesel engines in Trinidad and Tobago.